I know when I walk in a room, you're going to be like, who is that? And I'm
Hmm.
okay with that. And I always tell my clients, like, be the person when you walk in a room that all eyes are on you and they want to know more about you. How do you do that? You be yourself.
Welcome to the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast, the podcast where we debunk the eat less, move more, shrink more mentality and focus on what really matters, which includes your relationship with your body, food, self-worth, and the behaviors that align with all of those. I'm your host, Christina Hathaway, licensed therapist with specialized training in food and body obsession, certified personal trainer and nutrition coach. At the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast, we believe what you say in your mind, you see in the mirror. So let's have a conversation about that. Before we get into today's episode, I want to make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also, if you don't want to miss any content that's being dropped, make sure you hit that notification bell as well. I also want to know who are the people you want to hear from on this show and what topics would you like me to continue to cover. Thank you so much for your continued support. Now, let's get into the episode. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Mindset Mirror Connection. I am so excited that you've set this time out for yourself today to learn a little bit about life. So, welcome back. If you haven't already, make sure that you've hit that subscribe or follow button wherever you're listening to this podcast. As you know, I'm going to remind you every single episode. And in today's episode, we have an absolute stunner from the inside out, Dr. ChiQuita Mack. I mean, her name alone says how badass she is. She's a social worker, an author, and healing coach dedicated to helping women reclaim their power as we love. With a PhD in entrepreneurship and business administration and a master of social work and multiple, yes, multiple coaching certifications, Dr. Mack blends academic excellence with lived experience to guide deep transformation. She's the founder of the ChiQuita Mack LLC, a nonprofit rediscovery, both designed as spaces for women to heal, reflect, and rise. A former teen mom who turned pain into purpose, Dr. Mack shares her wisdom through the Beauty in You workbook and podcast, empowering women to embrace self-love, set bold goals, and rediscover their essence. From Columbus, Georgia to Washington, D.C., her mission is clear: to inspire resilience, amplify women's voices, and lead with heart. Welcome, everyone, Dr. ChiQuita Mack. All right, y'all. Welcome, Dr. ChiQuita Mack. How are you, my dear?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to have you here. As I've already explained, introducing you, I know that you're going to have so many wonderful tidbits of gold to tell our listeners. So I'm just excited to have this conversation. For those who don't know, I was already on your podcast, and when we were chatting, it was like
It was
chopping it up with
amazing.
your girlfriend, you know? And I always love that. Like, it's so funny because I talk about how hard it is to like meet new friends here in Phoenix because and it's a me thing because I have like a gym at my house, I work from home, my husband works from home. I just don't socialize. And it's
Mhm.
kind of funny how my like our podcast worlds have given me introductions to people like yourself and a few of the other gals that I'm like, "Oh, these are my friends." Like this is how I make friends now. It's
It's
so
crazy. I
true.
was actually just telling somebody that I was like, all of my, first of all, I don't know what it is about the West because I'm on the East Coast, but the West Coast, I'm like, all the people I connect with so well are all on the West Coast. I need to come that way. I need to come over that
Yes.
way. But here I say the same thing. I do like people, guys, but I say, I don't even like people. Like, I don't even have that many friends. But I love to connect, but it's only certain people that I really click with that I'm like, oh my God, I've known her forever. How do I know? I feel
Mm,
like I've known you forever. And I
yeah,
feel like that when I talk to you. So
yeah,
I'm
it's a
excited.
soulmate. It's I'm really spiritual, but I like to educate myself in all different realms of spirituality. And I was getting into I don't remember I was talking about like your past life regressions. This person was talking to me about it, and they were talking about how like certain people they had done not a study, but a like someone came in and did this like meditation, I guess you would call it. And like there were certain people who were there like in their past lives
That's
and like in
crazy.
different capacities, not the same. It was
Mhm.
so maybe that's where it comes from. But
I know. Connecting.
anyway, yes, exactly. First and foremost, I'd love for you to just kind of talk about your journey and your story. Obviously, I'm going to get into like specific questions, but coming from an entrepreneurial background into social work and now as a healer and a coach, just share with us a bit about your story and how we got here.
Lord, do we have time
We have all the
today?
time. We
Okay,
have all
let's
the time.
do it. No, My I always, and I hate to say this, but like I feel like my story started from a place of like pain and just like hurt.
Hmm.
Um, Shoot, it's been maybe going on 11 years now, but like my Lord, my story. First, we'll start with I had my son very young, y'all. Well,
Hmm.
I got pregnant at 20. I
Hmm.
had him at 21. And I can talk about it now, but I couldn't talk about it then. But that was probably the hardest moments of my life because a lot of family turned their back on me, said I was going to be a statistic, that I wouldn't make anything out of myself. All the negative things that you don't expect to hear from your family, I heard.
Hmm.
And then they said my son wasn't going to be anything. And I'm like, how y'all don't even know? And so I had to deal with that. And me and my husband also got married super, super young. So I became a mom, a wife, and I was still a student living on my own 10 hours away in West Virginia all at one time. And I will tell you, I was more so of a robot during that time. I was being a mom and I didn't really know how to be a mom. I was being a wife and I didn't know how to be a wife. I was dealing with depression, anxiety, postpartum, and I kind of knew what it was, but I didn't want to say I knew what it was because in our community, meaning African American community, we don't talk about that kind of stuff. You kind of just deal and you push through. And yes, you're tired and you push through and you may feel like that. Girl, don't you say that. And you don't go to therapy because you're not telling your business to anybody. And so I was
Hmm.
literally 18, 19, 20, like all those things I've dealt with before, then having a baby at 20, then pregnant at 20, having a baby at 21, all the things all at one time. And so I really suffered. I really suffered. It wasn't until I'm going to say I moved here to DC that I really start to realize who I was because even then, me and my husband went through a really rough patch. I mean, rough, like rough of the rough. And that's when I realized that I didn't know who Chiquita was anymore. I was a mom, I was a wife, I was doing everything that the society wanted me to do. I was working a job, didn't really want to be there. I was just doing all the things that didn't make me happy anymore. And my kids are the reason that I changed my life. My daughter, more so, I had her at 25, and it changed my life because I realized I was suffering in a way that I didn't want her to see mommy suffering this way and think that it was okay. I did not want to be the example that I had, like, oh yeah, my mom went through that, my grandma went through that, my great grandma went through that. It has to be fine, right? Like that's what we're supposed to do. And I wanted to break that. And so I put myself in therapy, which I should have did a long time ago, and to be a mental health advocate. It's like, girl, bye. But I can I can
I always
suggest
tell people
that
you
for
weren't ready yet. You weren't
yeah,
ready
yeah.
when you think that like I should have done this before. I'm like you weren't ready for it then. So,
Yeah, and you're probably right, you know? And so I put myself into therapy and my therapist was like I needed her. It was like just timing. The Lord knew the right one to put in my life because when I tell you this woman pushed me, I needed someone that's going to push me to the very end and that's not going to let me like get out of it. And she did, and she pushed me so hard to figure out who Chiquita is. She would say, "Who is Chiquita Mack?" And I'm like, yo, you ask me that every time I sit here. I keep answering your question. She's like, but you're not answering the question. But
mhm.
my answers would be like, what do you like to watch? Oh, we watch Blue's Clues and we watch Pepper Pig. And she's like, no, what do you like to like? What do
Yeah.
you like to do? And I'm like, me and the kids go to, she's like, no, you, Chiquita. And it was so hard. And I would be so mad. I'm like, yo, if you ask me one more time,
I feel like my our
I
clients
swear.
probably feel that way
Like,
about us.
I know. Now I'm like, you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, ugh, ugh.
Hmm.
And she really pushed me, and I had my breakthrough moment of understanding who I was. But while I was going through therapy, part of my therapy was Instagram. So
Hmm.
I would post a random photo of me and my kids at that time. It's really evolved since then. But it used to be photos of me and my family, and I would do a therapy lesson, and I would say lesson 200, and I would say self-care, and then I would talk about my therapy session. And when I started to do that, is when I got the feedback from other women that made me realize, like, you're not the only one going through that. Even though I felt like I was the only woman in the universe, these things, all of these changes, all of these mental health challenges, everything. But at that moment, I realized, oh, I'm not alone. Okay.
Yes.
There's a whole group of us out there. And that's when I shift to really, really digging into, being a coach. I started out helping moms in the beginning.
Hmm.
I focused on helping mothers rediscover themselves after motherhood because that's kind of what I was going through. And it's shifted since then. Now I help women find their voices and turn their story into a profitable brand. But when I first started out, it was like literally just helping moms get through the mental health struggle. So,
I love
yeah,
that. I
yeah.
love that. And it's funny that we, when I talk to women and we hear their stories, oftentimes it is just that. Like I was going through something and just started sharing it, whatever that thing was, whether it was postpartum mental health. I had another gal on who she does makeup over 40 and she was just realizing like, this makeup I was buying was like getting in my creases. So I just started talking about it and you're sharing this with other women and you get this following and it tells me like that is your purpose because not only did you feel drawn to like share your story, but then you received that feedback that, oh, I'm not the only one. And, being a woman of color and in the Hispanic culture, women are doers, we give and we give it. And I feel like in most cultures that's true, but, it's that same thing of no one spoke about mental health. It was just do, be there for your husband, be there for your children. And my mom is actually, I'm half Italian, half Spanish, and I feel like it's the same shit on both sides, So
Yeah.
being able to share that for women who can see you and see themselves in you, I think is so beautiful because it gives them a space to be seen. And obviously the response was there, which is beautiful. And you talk about your healing work as a journey of rediscovery. I
Mhm.
love that. And that was basically what it sounds like your therapist walk you through for our clients who are listening who feel that, wow, like Chiquita, I don't know who I am outside of the Blues Clues and the Peppa Pig and the Disneylands and the jump parks. How would you help? What would be the first step for our listeners to help them start finding their own rediscovery process?
I have to say, even though I say I didn't know, we do know. We absolutely know. Is it society maybe? I don't know if it's society or the backlash of what we think, but we feel that if we go back to those small things that used to make us smile, that we really enjoyed, that we're going to get the backlash from everyone else to say, you shouldn't want to do that. You're a mom. You shouldn't want to
Mhm.
go step out and do that. Don't you have this? People that are shaping what you should and should be doing in your role. I say keep it simple. Just keep it simple. What's the one thing you used to love to do? I love to draw. I love to
Love
write. Those things make me smile. Those things really get me like, I just feel good doing them. It doesn't feel like I'm doing anything extra. But just go back and keep it simple. You know what it is.
that.
It's the thoughts of everybody else. I'm telling you, silence the noise. It's the thought of everyone else around you that is making you second guess who you should be at this moment. You know who you are. You know who it is. It's that fear, that little bit like, girl, what you doing? You ain't supposed to be. Mm-mm. No,
Mm-hmm.
put it
Mm-hmm.
down. Go see what they need. Go see what your husband needs. Go see what your kids need. Go see what your friend needs. Everybody else but yourself, because for some reason we're not allowed to put ourselves first. And listen, everybody knows in this house that I come first,
I love that.
and I'm nobody's mom at the moment. Like seriously.
Yeah. No, it's so true. I remember learning this because as a marriage and family therapist, we look at like systems, right? Systems in
Yeah.
the household, the couple, the family. And the system, if you are spiritual, is God, you as a couple, then you as parents, then the children. But that system is never that way. It's completely upside down. And we put the children at the top and we lose ourselves in the process. But all we're doing is, taking away from us being the best version of ourselves for the rest of the system. And you're
That
right.
part.
Like when you were talking, I've been so hard on myself lately about social media and like I'm feeling really stuck in the process of marketing and this and that. And literally this morning, my best friend who has created her career on marketing,
Mhm.
she reached out to me. She's like, let's just get on a call. Because why did she need to reach out to me? Because I have her right here in my pocket.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to reach out to her. And we literally talked about that. Same is true for me. Rarely do my friends reach out and say, hey, I'm struggling with, whether it's binge eating or perimenopause or whatever it is. They don't reach out because we fear that if we reach out to someone, that will be seen as whatever we think we're going to be seen as, which is just a projection on ourselves. But for me, it was a wake up call even this morning, like, hey, you have people there. They know how to help you. They can help you. Like, you just need to get over yourself and do it, you
Ask
know?
for help, even though it's hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Listen, something I still in
girl.
therapy, it's so difficult, especially, well, think about it. Okay, for you, you're 21, you have to grow up quickly,
Boom.
right? And you have to become hyper independent because no one else, especially with the backlash you receive from your family, no one else is showing up for me.
No.
So I've got to show up for myself and kind of figure it out on myself in that hyper independence. While it obviously helped you and your son at the time, you know, survive, sometimes we don't realize like that hyper independence was needed for that chunk of time and
Yep.
not forever. So do you still see some of that? You know what drives my clients absolutely crazy is they're eating clean and doing all the workouts, but they don't see the weight budge. Their sleep is all over the place. Their hormones are through the roof and they feel like they're going crazy.
Yeah, it's frustrating because 9 out of 10 times it's something hormone related that no one's looking at. It's perimenopause, menopause. Our biology internally has shifted, but no one's changing the strategy as far as approach.
What if perimenopause support included like therapeutic guidance, nutrition, exercise, and hormonal support all in one place?
Seriously, it would be great if you didn't have to track down like 10 different experts just to feel like yourself again.
That's why I created the Mindset of Menopause and have partnered with Dr. Jordan Trapp to create a comprehensive plan to your hormonal health.
Together, we are making medical insight meet emotional strategy. So your symptoms make sense, your plan actually works, and your power comes back online.
This isn't just support. This is your comeback season.
Click below for more information.
Get in the way.
Yes. I mean,
Tell me more.
that's the problem. Like, first, when you're really self-aware, like I know who I am now, but there's moments where I would just go, 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 and I don't want to ask for help. And I probably should ask. No, I need to ask for help. I need to seek out for others, but I don't, and I'll keep going. But like I think I've mentioned to you before, I'm lucky enough to have a group of people that know ChiQuita very, very, very well, that they will just jump in. But the same thing, I'm like, I got it, y'all. I got it. And I'm feeling, and I'm thinking that I'm feeling good. And by the end, I'm like, oh my God, why didn't I just ask so and so, so and so, and so and so? Or again, why did they have to reach out to me to say, we got this? Stop. Stop. We got this. But my mind, and I think I mentioned to you before, I can give me a chaotic environment,
Yeah,
girl.
I'll handle
I'm
it.
like, what's going on? Too easy. That is not that is not good.
I know.
Not good. Oh, I got it.
hmm
I'm going, right? And then
Comfortable in
give me
chaos.
yeah, and then you give me a calm environment. I'm like, oh my God. Why I can okay, I should be doing something. I should be doing something. Why is it so chill? It took me like 30 minutes to finish my whole day. What am I gonna do for the next 6 hours? Like
Right.
seriously,
hmm
it's there for sure.
Yeah. And we all go through that because, again, we're comfortable in chaos. I'm listening to a book called How to Buy Back Your Time. Great book, by the way, for entrepreneurs. Have you read it?
I have not, but
It's,
I need to.
yeah, Dan Martell. And he talks about that most entrepreneurs were raised in emotionally like abusive or just chaotic environments, and that's why we thrive so much in business because we thrive in chaos, we thrive in discomfort. Like it's a blessing and a curse because, you know, I can, as you, push through really anything. Like nothing to me is too hard,
Yeah.
right? And oftentimes I have to check myself even with my own coaching of like understanding when other people find easy things hard. Does that make sense? I have to
Yes.
check myself.
Yes, I do too. And be like, they're not you. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop
And
it.
it's all, again, it's a blessing for them that they're not us that are just like, give me all the shit. Right. And so he talks about like how entrepreneurs, we usually have those, as I don't remember the exact words, but that like pain and that painful upbringing. And that's oftentimes what makes us really good at our jobs, but also can lead to burnout. Right. So in other ways, like obviously, you know, you had your son at 21, right? And yeah,
Mhm.
I'm wondering how that also not we talked about kind of the hyper independence, but how did that shape you like in regards to strength and self-worth and womanhood? Like I'm sure there was many, many amazing things that came out of that I don't think a lot of people in society realize that there are so many strengths that come out of that, and maybe the things you proved everyone wrong
Yeah.
that they
I
didn't
think
do.
that, yeah, that is probably I wouldn't, even though it was hard, it was so hard. It was so hard. Okay. My
I
son's
have never
17.
done it.
He's 17 right now. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's an amazing kid. It was such a hard time in my life, but I wouldn't take it back. I wouldn't take it back. It's definitely has shaped me into ChiQuita Mack. And yes, girl, I busted my butt because I wanted to finish school for me too. Let's go back to that. Education has been super important. That was instilled in me by my mom because one of the things she did say that my mom had my back. And she said, okay, cool, but you're going to get your degree. And I know that's something you wanted. So I don't care if it takes you 6 years. I don't care if it takes you 7 years. I don't care how long it takes you, if you have
Mhm.
to scale back, but I want you to finish that for you. So my mom was like, boom, like you're going to get your
Love
degree.
that.
But education was already always instilled in me at a super young age. So that's something I wanted to do. And
Hmm.
so, but when the naysayers came down, I was like, I'm going to get this degree.
Listen,
I'm
don't
gonna
tell
prove
me I
you
can't do
wrong.
something.
I'm gonna do it. And I did it. And then I had to be super creative on getting this degree because there was no money for me to go to school, hence why I joined the military.
I
And
did not know
so
that part.
so I one of the proudest moments I'll ever have, and now and I get that question, what is your most proudest moments? My most proudest moment is graduating with my undergrad. Now, not just because I did it and people said I couldn't do it, but there's in the ceremony, the very, very end, the last thing they do is they commission officers in front of the whole graduation. Okay. And I was the only one in that class because I was behind everybody else. Right. Hence I
Hmm.
had a baby. So I was the last one. So they called me up and I got to say my oath in front of the whole stadium. And I had my son there with me and he was this little tiny thing. And and I get emotional, but that is my
Hmm.
most proudest moment because it was then that I realized I can do whatever I put my mind to. Like, I got this.
Hmm.
And no one can ever take that moment away from me. Like, it was so hard. Like, when I tell people it's hard, I'm like, listen, y'all, it's hard. Not just because I had a baby young. Y'all, listen, I worked two jobs. Let's break it down. I worked two jobs. I worked at Charlotte Russe and I worked at Delia's in the mall.
Love.
My husband worked two jobs. He worked at Finish Line and he worked at Sears. And we lived in this
Hmm.
little tiny apartment. It's probably as big as my office right now. Okay. And it was
Wow.
hard.
Hmm.
Okay. And we pushed through that. And so it's just so many like things resilient, all the things. Now, yes, we can handle everything, anything that life throws at us. I think we've probably been through all of it. Jesus Christ. Um, but yeah, I just really learned that there's not anything that I can't do. Like now I
Yeah.
just can choose if I want to do it or not. But I know that
Hmm.
I can do it.
I absolutely love that. And again, our stories, I mean, I was never in the military, but like just like working multiple jobs and like figuring out the way. And I think
Now,
that too is why when we don't have a lot to do, it just feels so foreign because we are so used to, like I even just think about being in school, getting out of school, going to job A, like figuring out, okay, when am I going to eat between job A and job B, and like where am I going to change? And just like that, like forward thinking of, okay, and then I'm going to go here because I was on the hip hop dance team in college, and that's that you were talking about what makes you happy. I'm like, dance, like
I
give
love
me any
it.
sort of dance, but like put me in front of like a crowd. I love that. So, but worked two jobs, was going to school, and just that kind of forward thinking of how am I going to get to A to B? How am I going to feed myself? How, for you, how am I also going to take care of my child in this process and
Mhm.
all of that? I think that's why we get so down on ourselves, not down, but we just feel so odd when we don't have somewhere to be or something to do,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
because what I was doing. And for so long, I think it was a part of, at least, my story, maybe it's part of yours too, is just like always doing, 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 going, pushing, pushing, pushing. When does it stop? Or,
Mm-hmm.
what is your love? I have to ask myself sometimes, like, girl, what is your definition of success? Because you moving. Where are you going? Where am I going? I have to check myself, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And like a few months ago, a few weeks ago, my husband had to say to me, "What have you accomplished in these last six to 7 months?" And I said, "Nothing,
I feel the same way.
true.
Hmm.
Stop for a second. I need you to bring it back. And I said, okay. And I had to write it down. And I'm like, okay, you know what, Kita, you tripping, right? Because I'm just going, I'm going where I'm going. I don't know. I'm going though. I'm pushing,
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
really
I
need
had a
that, those moments.
yeah, I had a friend ask me, she's like, "Well, what's the end result?" And I was like, "What's that?"
What does that mean
What is
for like this quarter or like
it?
what? What are we
Exactly.
talking
Like
about?
when,
When?
because
No.
you don't even think about that, but it is such an important question of like, where am I going? And literally, Cynthia, my friend that I spoke with today, she said, you keep raising the bar.
Hmm.
You've got to stop. You just need to be happy with where you're at and, stop trying to make everything happen right away and be patient and exactly like you said, can keep going back to like what makes you happy. And another part other than dance is like helping people. I've done that my entire life in whatever capacity I could possibly do it, whether it was a car wash to walking around downtown Los Angeles, like handing people sandwiches. My parents had a little like breakfast lunch shop down in Caltrans building in LA. And we would just walk down like in the mix down in like Skid Row and hand people sandwiches. And it brought me so much joy. So I know that like this is where I'm supposed to be, but I keep like I keep raising the bar of it being something more than it is. When if at the end of the day, if we strip everything down, that's what it is. I'm curious, and I know in your book, The Beauty in You, you have the seven realms of rediscovery. Can you give us like a quick summary to that? And then of those, which one do you feel like women resist the most?
So let's talk about the book. So since
Yeah.
then, I've made some edits to the book. So
Oh,
there's
okay.
a second edition that's getting ready to come out. Let me look at the calendar. Hopefully in the fall. I don't know, y'all. It's there. It's
Listen,
done.
writing a
We just
book is
gotta get it out.
not for the faint of
But
heart.
I say that to say is that I changed the whole beginning of the book. So we talk about self-discovery. We talk about self-discovery, self-love, goal setting, all the things. Well, now I have set the book up in a way to where we go through the heal framework because this is honestly where we hang out the most. This is me being my client. So, heal
Hmm.
framework. The word heal, honesty, expression, awareness, and light. That is the foundation of the beauty in you. Second edition that will be out soon. But that is what I use with my clients. Where do we hang out the most? Where do we find the most difficulty? Is in the H, which is honesty. Because
Hmm.
we don't want to be honest with where we are. We don't want to be honest about where we're trying to go. We just don't want to be honest about what's happened to us in our past. And that's where we hang out because when you work with me, everybody wants to get to the L, which is the light, which is the book, the podcast, the speaking on the stages to making all this money. And I'm like, I'm not going there until we talk about the H. Okay. We need to
Hmm.
talk about what's happened and why are you here and why are you stuck? And let's talk about expressing yourself and let's become more self aware. And then I'll promise I will get you to the light if we
Yes.
focus on this part. And so the real foundation is just doing the work, doing the thing that makes you like, oh my God, do I really have to talk about me? You do. Do I really have to talk about the things I went through in the past? You do. You do. Do I really have to talk about upgrading? You do have to talk about that because there's so many things. Most, no, not so many. All the things I went through in my childhood
Hmm.
has played a part to who I am today. And that's the work I had to undo. The positivity, the positive affirmations. There's a lot of affirmations in the book. It teaches you
Hmm.
how to even do affirmations, and I stick them all over my house. Even now, I have four on my mirror that I look
I
at every
always
single
have
day.
something on the back of my phone too. So you see
Yes,
it every day.
yes, see it every day. But that's because when I grew up, like little Kita, I didn't have anyone pouring those words into me. I didn't have anyone saying the you're beautiful or besides, oh, you're cute for a dark skinned girl. You got to stuff like that you have
Hmm.
to deal with. So yeah, the basis is heal. And the part that we get stuck is honesty. So let's just take some time and work through it. We're gonna get to the light. We're gonna get to the light.
Right.
But we have to do the work. We have got to do the work.
Well, I agree with you because that honesty is, like you said, looking in and looking at what has created my beliefs about myself. I can't get to the light if I'm wearing these glasses that are so dark, and
Hmm.
that's that darkness around who I believe I am, what I believe my worth is, and we do very similar work in that. It's like we've got to kind of go through it. Like we don't go around it, we don't avoid it. We need to go through it and just understand it. I
Hmm.
practice as a coach. I'm not practicing as a therapist, so I'm not doing like the processing work like in the traditional sense, but again, the slogan of this exact podcast is what you say in your mind, you see in the mirror. And if everything that I'm saying in my mind is so dark because of my past and not letting go of what maybe other people really have put on me, I'm never going to see that light in the mirror. So I love that. And yeah, I'm guessing that's where the resistance really is because it's scary. I know it's been scary for me going through it, but it's been the best thing that I've ever done in my
It's
life.
very scary, even for me to go through, and even thinking about it sometimes I get sad.
Mhm.
But I had to do the work and continue to do the work because I'm not just like, oh, you went through it, girl, you're good. Boom. No,
Mhm.
I
Great
said it's
point.
a circle, guys. Like we're constantly always, healing and learning more about ourselves. And it's just a tool bag that we're building. So now we know how to better equip ourselves to deal with these things. So you're
Yeah.
never fully healed. We're just always healing and we're just in better positions right now to get ourselves there. At the end of the day, we're all human and we all go through, we have things that we have to deal with. And it's like, okay, I know how to deal with that now. I know how to teach my kids how to deal with that now. And yeah, be the best we
No,
can.
I think that's such a great point that our listeners need to hear is like you could have gone through the work and these different phases in your life just bring a new aspect, if you will, of the past that
Mhm.
you haven't maybe dealt with, or you
Yeah.
have dealt with it, but I don't know how I'm trying to explain it. Like there's just new phases, whether that's, my dad's really sick, that's a phase of life where you look back on like family dynamics and like a lot of stuff came up, even though I've already processed my family dynamics.
Mhm.
So there's just certain things that are going to bring some of that stuff up. And then having the skills, as you mentioned, the tools in your tool bag to say, okay, like I need to have the awareness this is happening, and then I need to maybe reframe or use the affirmation, whatever that looks like to get through this. I think it's important for listeners to hear that. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about self-love, of
Mhm.
course, and out there in the world, it's very performative and very like I don't know, it's kind of BS to me for a lot of these people who are not educated, both in like hard knocks and in the books, which I think is something. There's something to be said about having a double major in that in the school of hard knocks and this in education itself. It's very performative, right? It's very like clickbaity. How
Yeah.
would you describe self-love that's like real and rooted like in the self, not this performative thing we're seeing people do on social media for clicks?
So self-love, what do we say? The ability to love oneself, right? But then they'll say, let's go get your nails done, and then you really love yourself. And that's also self-care. So let's just put it all in one.
Mm-hmm.
I love to get my nails done, y'all, but now I feel like it's kind of part of my job
Right.
because
Listen,
they
I've
ain't
read
done right
enough.
now. But listen, right? But they'll be done this weekend because I'm like, oh my God, I'm going too long without my nails done. What am I doing? It's a part of my brand, right? But the ability to love yourself. All right. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is every part of your body. Everything that, oh, is this too fat or am I, it's all the things. You need to love every single part of you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I can sit here and write all the good things about myself and then probably write negative things, which would probably be longer, right? Because that's kind of how it always is. The negative
Right.
part just takes over. But I love Chiquita for who she is. I love who I am inside and out. I recognize the things that I need to work on, and I'm very self-aware of that. And I'm willing to put the work in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You have to know that it's perfection, even though I strive for it, but I
Right.
know it does not exist. But
Yeah.
you have to know that perfection does not
Hmm.
exist.
Yeah.
Love who you are, love who you have become. Even though it hurts, love some parts of that past because that past would you would not be who you are without those experiences and those lessons. And so self-love is loving every part of your journey, every part of your body, every part of your even environment, the good, the bad, and ugly. And then we get to be cute too. Sometimes we get our nails done and all the things, love
Listen,
ourselves.
we love that
But
for us.
we love it.
Yes, we're a brand. Like you said, it's a write-off.
I'm like,
Um,
the eyebrows.
right? No, what I was thinking when you were saying that, it's like if you ever had a partner, because obviously a relationship, especially a loving relationship, requires love. And if
Mhm.
we ever had a partner who expected us to be perfect in all aspects of us, our bodies, our minds, our communication, our socializing, all the things, we would call them narcissistic and toxic. But we still expect to do that in ourselves. Like our self-love is only required if we're perfect. And it's like, that wouldn't be, you would hate that person if they were your partner, or it'd be incredibly abusive. So why is it okay for you to do it to yourself but not, someone else?
It's
And
crazy how much we don't check. We have to self-check ourselves, but it's true. We
yeah,
so mean to ourselves if we don't check that. The hardest people, you're always going to be harder on yourselves. Expect the most out of yourself. But I'm going to give so and so the benefit of the doubt because maybe they didn't mean, maybe
hmm
no. But I'm going to be
hmm
so hard on me because I know better. And it's like, no, stop it.
yeah, no, I agree. There's an aspect of self-love, and something I learned from one of my very favorite mentors is he told me the minimum of love is respect.
Mm,
If you can't respect someone, you cannot love them.
mhm,
And I, help my clients understand that in themselves. It's like respecting your body is moving your body, but
mhm.
also resting your body. Respecting your body is feeding it healthy foods, but also enjoying the cake. Or, my husband and I went to San Diego this weekend. We shared a cinnamon roll, like one of those big ones that they made in house, and I'm like, oh, that
So
looks really
good.
good. Like, let's try it. It's delicious. And we forget, or maybe not even forget, we don't know that aspect of that's a big aspect of self-love is the respect towards ourselves.
Mhm.
And we lose sight of that. And then we also at the same time only celebrate times where we think things are going perfect
Wow.
or well, when sometimes you've just got to say great job, like you took that failure on the chin. Like you're gonna get back up. You're resilient, like you said. You're resilient in that situation. It didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, but you did it. Like you tried. And
Mhm.
I love that idea for our listeners to be looking at, like, self-love, like you said, is the good, the bad, and the ugly, and still loving you through all of it. Because I think we lose sight of that, especially like we talked about with everyone on our screens kind of preaching something else,
Yeah,
you
scroll
know?
like
Yep.
life. Share.
It's so annoying. Can I ask you a question? Like,
Sure.
maybe it's a just me thing. Do you ever get annoyed with people like calling themselves like mindset coaches and this and the that's that don't have the education behind what they're doing? Or is that just
Uh,
me?
I do, but you know what? Do you, boo?
Yeah. Okay.
Do you, boo?
Thank you.
I do. I'm like, to each his own.
Hmm.
Whatever. But you will get exposed. One way, shape, or form, they will get exposed. And so it's not for me. Hey, if that's what you feel you need to do to get the click likes and the things, do the thing. But yeah, there's a
That's a
few.
good point.
There's a
Yeah.
few, but I'm like, hey, do you, boo? Just
Yeah.
know when y'all come over here, it ain't that type of situation.
No, no. Well, it's also good for us because we have like your own therapist, the ability to like go there, but do it in a way that's really safe. I worry sometimes. I look at some of these people online and I'm like, what are you going to do using whatever it is that you're using to help this person when they have, like, I don't know, a trauma breakdown, or
Yeah.
like they go there and they can't get out of that loop. Like I'm very scared about that. But again, I just I
Yeah.
just they come to me, we come to us after
And
that.
I'm like, what? Who said what? Okay, hold up.
Girl.
Now
Some
we
of the
got to go
things
back.
I hear, even
Yeah.
from actual therapists with actual training, the things that I was talking to a couple the other day, because I have a very small part of my business is relationship and dating coaching.
Mhm.
And I only hold a small amount because it is like more time, right? And needing to spend more time. And the things that this couple was telling me their therapist was having them do to build trust was the complete opposite of building trust, like mirrored phones. So each person could see the person's phone, like a sheet of every person like he had talked to on, I won't share too much, but he's got a following. Like every
Gotcha.
person that like reached out to him that was female, like on social. I'm like, your therapist told you to do that? And at the end, I was like, this is a completely false sense of safety
Yeah,
or
seriously.
trust. It was nutty. And I'm like, oh man. But anyhow, I digress.
Like,
So
I want to know more, but let's talk later.
yeah, we'll talk later. I'll tell you everything. We'll spill it. We'll spill it. I love it. So I could literally talk about that could be a whole episode.
Like,
We do it on fitness influencers often where we kind of
oh,
pull back the curtain. So, anywho,
so
let's talk
funny.
about that. Let's talk about like, women who are thinking, okay, self-care is me at my best, but if they're never perfect, they think they're a failure, right?
Yeah.
They're a failure and they still connect their, past mistakes, their relationships, their regrets, like they just kind of continue to ruminate over that and it stands in their way instead of seeing it as, things to learn from and everything we've already talked about. Like how do you approach that client who's just stuck in this, I'm a failure, I'm never going to get past this phase?
I was gonna say honesty, but no, clients that I do have like that are just stuck and they don't see it. And when I say my way, I don't mean like I'm trying to tell them like do this. But when I
Mm-hmm.
say my way, it's just seeing what I see in them, seeing how great
Mm-hmm.
they are, seeing the potential that they have, understanding that. I deal a lot with peeling it back. And I give a lot of homework. I'm like a homework
I love
queen over
homework.
here. But I give a lot of homework and because I want them to be honest with themselves and journal and write it down and really think about it. I want you to do the digging of why I'm just like I said that and maybe it came from her, but my therapist is like, but why? But why? And
Mm-hmm.
who? And who? And who? I do that. I
Mm-hmm.
do because I'm like, I need you to think about it. Why are you like that? Because this happened to me. Okay. And how did that make you feel? Okay. And when that happened, what did you say? And then since then, how did you react to this? Oh my God, I didn't think about it like that. Okay. We're getting somewhere because I
Mm-hmm.
need you to understand why you do the things you do. Why are you not saying that you are great or that you're already doing the thing? A lot of they come to me like, I want to be the best. Okay. What
Mm-hmm.
at what? I have all this experience doing this kind of thing. Okay. I haven't done that yet. You haven't? No, hold on. Who is this person that just signed up for your program? What did you help them do? Oh, who's this person? They just said they were interested on your Insta. Who's that? Oh, okay, stop. So now let's go back. So there's
Mm-hmm.
something there that's preventing you from seeing what I see because you're coming to me to say, I want to do this. You're doing it.
Right.
So what is it? Right. So let's bring it back. And so I spend a lot of time, like, even though it's coaching, it's like therapy coaching, like, y'all got to get a full therapist because I'm not in that mode.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I do need them to do some work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I need them to understand and process and think. So I will push and say, why? Well, why? Well, let's talk about that. Do this and let's look over that. Send it to me and I'll read over it. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Let's talk. So,
Yeah. I
yeah.
love that idea. And I'm thinking about my own clients and kind of that motivational, like interviewing process of like, well, let's understand more. I'm curious about this.
Mhm.
And, in this process, especially when we're talking about my clients who are here to become healthier, they, I'm dealing with this right now with the client, just want to see the end results, but don't realize that it was the same conversation about like you can't see the light if you're constantly looking at the dark. And this particular client, just the scale,
Mm.
it absolutely wrecks her. And it could be going in the quote unquote right direction. And we're not even in a fat loss phase right now. I'm just trying to get her body back to like a normal place where it's like safe to, do whatever it wants to do. But when you're not
Right.
eating enough, it doesn't feel that way. And she just gets stuck on the scale, the scale, the scale. And it's just coming back to no, why are we here? Why did you come here? You wanted to feel healthier. You wanted more energy. Look
Mhm.
at, that because you've done these workouts and you're moving more, you've said to me, you feel more energy. Well, who is that woman? Right?
Mhm.
She's a different person than the person who's, crashing out over the scale. And for everyone listening, like recognizing like how am I already becoming my ideal self, whatever that is? What are the steps I'm already taking? Even that small meal prep you did this morning is a
Mhm.
step in that direction. You're making a choice for you today and your future self down the line. And we don't celebrate that enough.
Oh, we
You
don't.
know, and it's like if I'm not perfect or I'm not there already, I'm a failure. It's like, no, boo, like you showing up each day and taking these little steps each day is you being that person. And I deal with this again, like I'll have 600 views on a reel and think it's nothing's happened. I hate social media if you couldn't tell.
Oh my God.
It's a whole conversation we have on this podcast. And my girlfriend today was like, that's 600 people that if they walked by your storefront, the whole
It'd be like,
conversation.
yeah, they're all standing outside your door. You're like, damn, 600 people in my front of my door. Okay.
And I'm like, wah wah, like it's not
That's a bad
enough.
reel. No, it's just
Yeah,
what they make you think. Don't do
yeah,
that.
it's so silly, but I think that's really, really important for the gals listening to like remember to even look at like, how am I already, what am I already doing? How
Mhm.
is that working for me? Right? Are there twists or adjustments that I need to make? I like to ask people, are there any blind spots that I'm not seeing?
Yeah.
And enhancing what we're already doing, and then using that same process to continue to build, right? New skills or whatever it is. I absolutely love that.
You just
God.
remind me of one of my clients.
Ooh, tell me more.
No, but tell me more. No, but a couple of things. I just started thinking about when we're working together. We've designed this whole. She's writing a book. We designed the cover for her. It's really dope. It's cool. It's like I'm super excited, and I kept saying like I wish I knew this book was coming out. Like I don't. I looked everywhere. I don't know that this book is come. I wish I knew from you this
Yeah.
book was coming out.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, I'm gonna talk about it. I was like, okay, because the launch is coming real soon and we're not gonna make no money. I'm trying to figure out what's going on, right?
Hmm.
And immediately her mind was like, well, what if I don't sell any books? And I said, well, damn, with this rate, we're not gonna sell any books.
Yeah, right?
And I laughed it off. But I wanted to bring to her attention that, anything I ask, if I ask her to, hey, you need to talk more and really get out there and like it's about connection and relationships and you're building a personal brand and people have to still know who you are. But if I'm like, you get out here and you give it faith-based advice and you're amazing. She's like, boom, this. And then I say, okay, great. You got this book coming out and you're not talking about it. And
Yeah.
she shuts down. And
Oh,
so, we had to really, figure that out. And immediately she's like, what if I fail? And what if I don't sell a book? And I said, well, if we don't talk about it, we're not going to sell no books.
right.
But I had to peel it back to her, say, when you started with me, we had nothing, girl. We had nothing. We had zero, nothing at
Mhm.
all. And we've got this. And now you can physically see what you're doing. And even if you sold one book, it's success, right? Because we literally started from zero. And so I
Exactly.
was just thinking about her, like, yeah, you just, you have to
Hmm.
just pull people and show them, the good in them. And at the end of the day, she's afraid of success. And that's a whole nother thing. Besides the
Right.
failure, she's afraid of success as well. And so that's a whole another thing that we deal with. We want it.
Hmm.
I want it. I don't want all these people looking at me. Oh my God. It's a
Hmm.
totter. But yeah.
It is a teeter-totter, and I was going to bring that up. Like, again, it's like, what are you saying to yourself about, the success of this book, and what are you making up about yourself? It's so important.
Yeah.
And again, going back to your honesty, you got to get honest.
Yep.
Where does that come from?
What we doing?
Why is that there? And once you realize, like, oh, I'm afraid of success because I came from a household where if you didn't maintain all straight A's, you were treated poorly or love was withheld from you. Like that's just not going to happen now.
Yeah.
Like you're the person who gets to be proud of yourself and love yourself. You get to be that parent. And you keep thinking that you have to, get this validation externally in order to be okay and be good enough. You do not.
Yep.
You can be proud in just the fact that you put this book out and that's your success. So guess what, babe? Success has already been achieved. Now it's just cherries All right. Icing on the
Doesn't
cake, whatever
help.
the freaking saying is, and being able to like get past yourself to talk about it. And no, that's amazing. I love it. I love everything that you do. Talk to me about, you know, moving away from that, like kind of what we're talking about, identifying like your worth outside of like what people are telling you or the success you get from outside of yourself. Like, how do you balance honoring, even for you, like you have all this education and training and these certifications. How do you balance, like, yes, I have all of this external validation, but I also validate from within. How do you create that balance, or how do you help people create that balance in their lives?
For me, I just know I'm dope. I'm sorry.
Yes. What are the kids doing? They're doing this on Love
I
Island.
mean,
Is it this? Yeah.
okay,
I love it. If you're
no,
not watching, we're little clappy
we're like,
fingers.
hey, no, I think for such a long time, I beat myself up for such a long time. I didn't think I was that girl, and I struggled with just loving me, and that comes from childhood and not getting the validation or not being the girl that always got the guy. Like I could tell you all the things of where everything came from, girl. We could be here all day.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I'm just in a place in my life right now that I don't give a damn. I
I
just
love it.
I just know who I am as a person. I don't I strive for the education for myself, but I don't care. Like I'm not like, call me Dr. Mack.
Hmm.
Like I'm like, it's
Hmm.
Quita.
Yeah.
Like
I
it's
love
either
that.
Quita or it's my last name Mack, right? From
Hmm.
military. So Quita or Mack, whichever one you want. Or it's from all the kids' friends, it's Aaliyah's mom or Trey's mom.
Right.
I'm fine with that too. I'm cool with that. I don't talk about what I do. None of the parents find out later.
Hmm.
I be chilling. But I know who I am. I know when I walk in a room, you're gonna be like, who is that? And I'm
Hmm.
okay with that. And I always tell my clients, like, be the person when you walk in a room that all eyes are on you and they want to know more about you. How do you do that? You be yourself.
Yeah.
Because if I'm being who I am all the time, I don't have to worry about, oh my God, what did I say? What did I do? How did just be you. Wear the thing you've always wanted to wear. Do the makeup
Hmm.
the way you've always wanted to do it. Just be who you are. And I promise it will go a lot longer, last a lot longer, go a lot further than anything else.
Right.
But I'm just in a place like I'm good. Like we chilling.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I love that. Well, it's like you said it in the beginning, you know who that is too. Like, and it's so funny you just said wear what you want to wear, because when you were talking about that when we first started, like this little picture in my head of, I like to dress cute. Like I like to dress. Sometimes I will ask my husband, is this too young of dressing? Just because I like to wear like cute stuff. And finally I was like, why am I asking him? Like if I want to wear this outfit and have my little hat on and my accessories and this and that, I'm just gonna wear it. I don't care. And half the time, people are like, where'd you get this outfit? And
See?
the second half, I'm like, also, I'm 42. And they're like, what? Oh, that makes me feel happy. But maybe that's external validation. But, it's, what it is. You know what makes you feel good. And if you know what make you feel good, and then you do those things, you're keeping those promises to yourself to be yourself, which then gives you that confidence of, I'm that girl.
Yeah, I'm it.
I
That's
know who
it.
the hell she is. I
You
love
talk
it.
about like what you wear, girl. I love because now you got me off track. I'm sorry.
Oh, I love it. Let's go.
I love character socks. Like, girl, you talking about, oh, should I wear this? I'll be walking around in my Rugrats,
I love
Roscoe's
it.
Modern Life, Ninja Turtles. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just my workout clothes and my socks. I always wear high socks. Like, so, and it's a thing. Miss Mac, let me see your socks. I'm like,
Boom. I love it.
so yes, wear the thing.
Hmm. Well, and like I said, I come from a dance background, and I mean, hip hop dance was like my forte since I was a kid, and so we just dressed different. We had our little
Yes, I love the
swag, and like,
style.
and I still to this day like. I love anything on like my head, like a scarf or like a hat or whatever. It's
Mhm.
always just been my thing. I mean, even like a knit, like remember Alicia Keys? She had that like knit,
Yes,
like
right
beanie.
here.
I remember wearing that to a party when I was 19, and everyone's like, I wouldn't wear that, but like you pull it off, and that was always the comment from people. And still in my 40s, I'm like, I want to that that's a part of my personality. And it really think it's that, and you too, like, this is what I like. I don't care if you like it, but because I like it and I'm confident in it, you seem to like it too, even though you won't do it for yourself because you lack the confidence in yourself, but you like the confidence that we have.
Yeah.
So love it. Love it. Love it. So last question for anyone sitting out there, because obviously your story, you were able to, I mean, there's so many aspects of it, of just you being resilient and thriving and having these barriers, you kind of up against the wall and being like, well, I'm going to go to the military, learn how to scale this motherfucking wall and get over it. What would you say to that woman who's like, my story is not big enough, or I'm not enough, but she's got a story to tell? Like, what would you say to her?
We all have a story to tell. And guess what, y'all? It ain't even got to be that dramatic. Let me just start right there. Because people think like, oh my God, I didn't have this. I didn't grow up in poverty. I didn't have blah, blah. You don't have to. You ain't got to be that left. But we do all have a story to tell. And whatever that story looks like for you, whatever you've gone through in your life, someone out there is waiting to hear your story. And that's the part you need to understand. It's like, oh, my story's not big enough. No, it's just right. It is just right. And someone's waiting for you to tell it so they could be like, oh my God, I see myself. And then if they can do it, I can do it too. Tell the story. Okay. Not waiting for this big dramatic boom. Just tell the story. Trust me.
You made me think of my husband. He had a relatively easy life, but I think he did. And then also there were still challenges that came out of that. Like, he's never really had to face adversity, and he struggles sometimes with like receiving feedback on things that are, maybe just feedback from me of like, hey, could you do this differently? And it's been a struggle for him, but he and I obviously have worked together on it. But even his relatively easy life, you can either learn from it and be like, this is what my parents did to not F me up emotionally. That's something we'd love to learn, especially as people who don't have parents who did not have those skills. Please, someone listening, write that in the manual. We'd love that. And then like for him, like, it's not always, you could come out relatively unscathed, but there's still things that like he had to learn through our relationship that now he is, an even better human, So I was thinking of him when you said that. So maybe he'll tell us his story. It will be kind of vanilla.
We'll listen.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll listen to your part. There's a lesson in there.
There is. Well, and a big part of the lesson is I needed vanilla because I was dating Rocky Road for a majority of my life. So I talk about this all of the time. So awesome. Okay. Tell everyone where they can find you, where they can pick up your book, and then we'll wait for the launch, but you're going to have to let me know when the book is actually launching.
I know. I got to let you know, girl, when I figure that out. But listen, y'all, if you would like to have your daily inspiration and motivation, just follow me on Instagram at the ChiQuita Mack. I got you. And if you want to hear beautiful women's story of rediscovery, including this great woman right here.
It's me.
Go ahead. Yeah, it is her. Type in the Beauty in You podcast wherever you stream your podcast. And the book will be out sometime in the fall, y'all. I got you, though. I got you. It's out now. Version 1's out right now, but the second edition will be out soon.
Yeah. And if you follow, you will get all of that information. So please give my girl a follow. And if you were feeling lucky and that finger is still working, make sure you follow this podcast or subscribe to our channel wherever you're listening or looking at our beautiful faces. If you haven't already, make sure to give that 5-star rating and review. That gives other people, or it tells the algorithm really like, hey, these gals know what they're talking about, and shares it with more people. Other than that, I'm going to leave y'all the same way we do every single week. And if you haven't figured this out through this conversation right now, remember this: what you say in your mind, you see in the mirror. Bye-bye. Yay. Love it.